What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be doing another low skin fade. So for this video, it is going to be a complete transformation. He came in with really long hair. It was undercut, long on top. It's been probably 4 months since he's gotten a haircut. So we're going to start off by doing clipper over comb just to remove the whole top part that's hanging over the sides. Don't really focus too much on detail. This is more just to get rid of things that are in front of where we're going to be fading. So here we still have to debulk a little bit more. So we're putting the 3 guard on. We're opening it up all the way. Just imagine where you would put the skin line for like a mid fade. And that's where we're going to go with this 3 guard. Just make sure to clear everything up because we don't want to push this fade up at all. And if there's hair still hanging over the top, just make sure to hold it down with a comb, because with very straight hair, the guard can kind of just push it and not cut it. So we want to feed it into the machine. To start the fade, we're going to go with a 0 on the clipper all the way closed. Make sure we angle this down a bit. It is a low skin fade, so we want to keep as much of the seek up as we can. Then we're going to go around the ear. And obviously in the back with a low skin fade, we drop it a pretty substantial amount, just enough so we can keep everything under the occipital bone in the back. So once we're done with the 0, we're going to bring out the trimmer. Just make sure, do not push that line up. Don't even get close to it. Flick out once you get near there and just keep a nice little separation between where we were with the 0. We want to make sure everything stays super low, so we have to be very disciplined with not pushing anything up. So for the foil shaver, we're really just going to use it on the sideburns and the back. You can go around the ear a little bit, I think I do here. But the main thing is to get the difference in color. You could see there's like almost a gray skin where we were with the trimmer, where the hair grows naturally. We want to disconnect from that area to the natural skin or behind the ear that doesn't grow hair. We want to make sure that transition is nice and smooth, and that's what the shaver's for. So now we're going to take our open blade on the clipper and just follow that same 0 line that we put in before. And then we're going to start fading it from 0 all the way closed, slowly opening it up, making sure not to push this up at all. And I did have a comment on my last video talking about potentially fading this downwards from open and then slowly closing it, just to make sure we don't push anything up. And if that's what you're comfortable with, then that'll definitely work here instead of fading from close to open. That's just what I'm used to. So here we're definitely going to be doing something a little bit different than we normally do, and that's taking the 1.5 guard and making our next section with it. Usually at this point I would use the 1 open, but since this is a low fade, we want to try as much as we can to skip guards and blend everything, keeping that fade as tight as possible. So here I'm getting rid of that 1 guard and I'm using the 1.5 all the way closed and following that same line that we put in before with the open blade. Now once we have that 1.5 guide all the way done, we're going to put our half guard on, start all the way closed and slowly open our blade up, fading into that 1.5 guard, and it should fade completely into it since we are keeping it pretty tight. If you've seen some of my previous tutorials, I really do harp on the fact that that top line of your guide should be always the guide that you put in. So in this case, we made the guide with the 1.5, and we put the half guard on, faded up, and maybe we pushed that line a tiny bit, so we need to put that 1.5 guard back on and just tap that line one more time, making sure it is a perfect 1.5. So now we're going to be starting the clipper over comb part of the haircut. We do need to wet the hair, being very, very straight and very long on top because we haven't cut it yet. It is going to keep falling in the way, so we want to make sure just to keep it up a little bit. Now that the hair is wet, we can also set up the top how we want it to be cut. He wants to go for a bit of a comb over, and he came in with a really long slick back on top that was undercut. So we do have quite a bit of hair to work with. So we just want to set that part exactly where we want it, and then we can start our clipper over comb section. So now that we have everything where we want it, we can start the clipper over comb section. We're going to start with the comb horizontal, unlike we did in the beginning of the video where we were just clearing bulk and we went vertical. So you start horizontal because you don't want to put any holes into the fade that we were just doing, and the bottom of this comb is right around a 1.5, so that's why we stopped at that 1.5 guard, making sure we're not going to be putting any holes into the fade. And then here, as you can see, I do go vertical just for a little bit. There's quite a bit of hair up here. We don't really have to worry too much about this because we are going to cut the top with scissors still, but if it does hang down, we want to get rid of it. And just keep an eye on all the hair that sticks out. We don't want to cut too much. Like we said all throughout the video, we want to keep this fade as low as possible, and that's what the clipper over comb is perfect for. If there's something I would recommend any new barber to learn as soon as possible, it's definitely clipper over comb. It's going to make your fades so much quicker just because you're skipping guards. I mean, as you saw here, we stopped at the 1.5 guard, and we're not going to use any other guard after this. Once the clipper over comb is done, it is fully blended. So now our clipper over comb is all finished, and we can start to cut the top and finish up this haircut. Clearly we have a lot of length to work with, so we are going to take off quite a bit here. This is just like I start all of the top cuts that I do. That's doing the front length first. It's easy for the client to see how much they want taken off, and it's easy for you to set yourself a guide to keep the whole top nice and even. Once you've given yourself that front section, as you can see, there's the short hair and there's the long hair. Just bring that all the way back, a nice mohawk part like I always say, or a mohawk section or whatever you want to call it. And then after this, we just go to the left and the right of that section, make sure everything's nice and blended, and then we have to cross-check after this. So when we blend that mohawk part that we first put in, you do create a lot of horizontal sections. So you need to make sure to go back and just cross-check any little point or little peak that you see. You need to just take that off just to make sure the top is perfect and all fully even with the rest of the hair. So as I always mention in every video, this is one of the most important parts of the fade, and that's using our thinning shears. Any little darkness that we see in the fade, we want to make sure to tap with the thinning shears. And then on top of that, we also want to make sure we're hitting a little bit on the ends that we just cut from the top. Anything that hangs over, just hit it with the thinning shears. It's just going to make sure everything is perfectly blended into the sides. And now we can do the C-cup lineup. Once everything is finished, this just cleans everything up. Start with that corner, then you do the sideburn, and you just connect both with a little bit of a curve. If you need to, you can use your comb to pull down some of the long hairs from the top and just knock those off, make sure everything's nice and perfect. This being a pretty massive transformation from what he came in with, I am putting a little bit of product in his hair. I use Mr. Muck products. This is the gritty finish, just a little bit of shine, a little bit of hold, nothing too crazy. His hair pretty much sits where we need it. So this is just more for the looks and to keep everything nice and together. So this is one of my bigger transformations on the channel. If you did enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.